And so I was in Buffalo or Syracuse or one of these places. I get there in the afternoon, the bus pulls up in front of the theater. And 1 block down from the theater is that one strip of hipster bohemian cool that a lot of small towns have. Like the town is very boring except for 1 block where there's the cyber cafe, the tattoo piercing place, the vintage clothes store, the alt bookstore, and the cool hotspot cyber cafe place. And then the next block's like crack houses and death. And so I get out of the bus and I see the brightly painted 1 block of hipster cool, and I walk towards it. Maybe there'll be a bookstore there. Maybe I can get a decent cup of coffee out of the deal. Something will happen. And all of you have been through, all kinds of towns in your life, and you've been past the independent record store or the cool tattoo piercing place, and you've always seen that indie punk rocker boy sitting in front of it, either on a skateboard or just ass on the ground. And you walk by, and the guy in the sweetest, most polite voice, he says as he extends his hand, "Excuse me, can you help me out with some change?" And you lie and say, "No, I'm sorry." And he says, "It's okay. Have a great day." Wow, have a great day. Thank you for not helping me out. It's so great for you to blow me off. Thank you. And you walk by, and if you've ever been to New York, there's like the old grizzled 50-something-year-old psychotic men who play with their own doo-doo. And they sit there going, "Ah!" They're the guys who in the 80s Ronald Reagan let out of the loony bin going, "You're not paranoid schizophrenic. You're just lazy. Now get out there and cheer up." And these guys have been hanging out on the streets of New York like, and you walk by them, they're like, "Can you help me out with some money?" And you lie your ass off and go, "No." And they go, "God bless you." And you wonder, what God is this guy talking about? What God that you know of looks down and goes, "Oh, you're blowing off the psycho. I bless you, man. Nice move. Way to be a human. Awesome." And so I don't know what God they're talking about. So anyway, most of you have endured the young man or the psycho who asks you for money, which you don't give to him, or sometimes you do. Good for you. But they always say, "Oh, thank you," and you go on your way. I do not get the same treatment from the young man doing it. He recognizes me. Somehow, he is my demographic. And so the guy will "Excuse me, sir." Whoa. "Excuse me, Mr. Rollins, Mr. Work Too Much, writer, actor, musician, spoken word artist, head up ass schedule, avoiding his midlife crisis by having a midlife crisis live on stage in front of receptive audiences all over the world. The man who has no time for friends, no time for relationships, no time for marriage, love, or offspring. The man who works all the time by saying, like, if I don't work, I am not the true Henry Rollins, the dark enigmatic writer who slips over borders unseen and unknown, the man who will never be known by anyone, the man with no friends, the man who works ceaselessly until the day he dies, the man with his head so far up his ass everyone has stopped calling him 3 or 4 years ago. Could you take some time out of your busy schedule to give alms to a young man who reminds you of yourself when you were younger and skinnier and more good-looking and intense and real? Now, what this little motherfucker doesn't know is I like young people unconditionally. Because if you reach 20 years of age, you should get an award. You should get a Lifetime Achievement Award. If your teen years were anywhere near as turbulent as mine, I think they were, you should be given some kind of prize. You remember 16. The girl leaves you, the boy leaves you. I can't go on, oh my God! Hormones. By the time you hit 19, that's why when you're 19, you write all that hilarious poetry you look back at years later and go, ooh! Or if you're really stupid, you publish it. and so you write, I'm so tired. I've seen so much for such a young person. Death, my friend, you walk with me. No one knows me, no one understands me, but death. I cast my seed into this sink because no one would want a wretch like me. Eternity. And then you somehow hit 21, and it is a small miracle. And so I like young people because they're going through that. And so I dig them because they're still breathing. And so this little motherfucker has his hand out. What he doesn't understand is I have all afternoon. I got nothing going on. And so I'm standing and he's sitting, and I preach stentorian from the mount. Young man! Yeah? How old are you, son? I'm 19. 19! I remember when I was 19, I used to wake up in the morning every day, stiff middle finger, stiff dick, angry at the world, giddy with anticipation of what the world could give me. Son, every single book on my mother's shelves that I had not read, I was angry at them. I wanted to read them. Joe Strummer raised me, son. He said, when you get aggression, you give it 2 times back. I said, Mr. Strummer, I hear you, man, and I'm going to go you a few better. I'm going to give it back fucking 10 times back. All right. Young man, let me ask you another question, son. Are you an amputee? Excuse me. Son, do you have both legs? Have you been to Afghanistan where there's more anti-tank and anti-personnel mines than in any other country anywhere in the world? Son, do you have both legs? Yeah. Very good, son. While I have you here, let me ask you something else. Do you have motor control? Wiggle all 10 fingers right now. Like this? Very good, son. Let me ask you something else. Are you mentally challenged in any way, son? No, I don't think so. I didn't think so. You seem fairly articulate, son. Can you read? Yeah. Nice one. You're in the upper percentile. Son, let me ask you something else. Son, do you want some money? Well, yeah. Very good, son. I pull out a wad of 20s I have with me. I don't like credit cards. When you have good credit, you have bad credit. Cash is unimpeachable. I go to the bank machine, I get a wedge of cash, it sits in my pocket for months as I spend, little bits of money here and there. I don't like spending money. And so I pull out this major fist of 20s. I go, son, do you want this? He's like, whoa, that's a lot of money. You're fucking right it is. It's all mine too. Oh. Wow. Well, all I want is like $1 or something. Son, do you want this money or not? Well, no. Don't lie to me, son. That's the vice president's job. Yeah, I want that money. Very good, son. You can have it. He's like, I can? He goes, and I said, yes, you can. And I put the money back in my pocket, and I stepped back. I said, son, you can have it if you can take it from me. And he sits there fairly stunned. He was like, what do you mean? I want you to mug me, son. I want you to attack me and take my shit. Son, I'm the old animal at the watering hole at sundown. By 7 p.m., I'll be hyena chow. Get up and take my shit. Attack me, son. I could never do that. Then you won't get a damn thing from me except another lecture. Are you ready for the second set? No, it's cool. And you have a nice day. Oh, okay, you too. And so the homeless boy gets on his cell phone and calls the other homeless boy 4 paces over there in front of the tattoo place and says, yeah, it's Henry Rollins, yeah. I know he is shorter in person. Yeah, it's him. Put your hand at your side, man. It's not worth it. You get this lecture, he spits all over you, he yells, and then he wants you to fight him for some money. It sucks. Just let him walk by, and the rest of the block, everyone's just like this, looking down. No one hits me up. I think they heard the lecture from up the street, but what was interesting is the fact that the guy with everything going against him wouldn't take my money, and the young man with everything going for him, his health, his wits, all his digits were moving. He wants money, and it's just interesting to me how young people with youth are complacent. They're apathetic. They'd rather sit on their ass and go like, "Can you help me?" It's like, motherfucker, you're 19. Do not beg. Just get up and do shit. But begging, shame on you, and shame on the parents who somehow instilled that bullshit. What records were they listening to?